Hey everyone, Grant here from Scissor Boy on a snowy day here in Toronto. Today, Heather is going to be introducing us to Antonio Quintieri from Shine Salon. He won this year's Well a Trend Vision Award in Canada, and he's going to be showing us his rendition of this year's trends. Let's get started.
Virtual life is one of our 4 trends that we've been doing for the whole season, for the entire year.
So virtual life is the feeling?
Virtual life is the feeling. I play it off as sort of a Japanese animation type of cartoon.
Ooh.
The color, the haircut, everything about it, but I'd like to add a little bit of femininity to it. And the first thing we're going to do is just sort of knock off some of that hair. These scissors are absolutely amazing.
How important are the tools to you?
The tools are very, very important, even for sectioning, like using a comb like this, how it has a little sectioning guide through there.
Yeah, I love the Scissor Boy.
They're very, very light.
Very lightweight.
They're carbon, so you can use them for ironing.
Hot tools?
Yeah, absolutely. What we are doing is we are slightly over directing this back here, so we're gaining length. So just going through, point cutting that lightly. The thing I like about these scissors as well is you just literally have to touch the hair and it falls right off. They're so nice and sharp. Keeps everything nice and clean. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the shape into the sides. Okay? So we're going to join this line in through the front. Okay, and clip that away. And now we're going to work on our length into the sides. Now I don't want to take too much off of her because she did want to keep some length in the front. Now she has some texture that was previously cut into her hair, which we're going to be working with. And just as a client comes in that might be seeing you for the first time, you have to work with what's in front of you. It's not always a perfect world where you're going to have hair that's never been touched. And again, very little tension as you're working over the ear. So now what we want to do is we can drop the rest of this because we're going to be doing a lot of layering through here. So if you kind of go through and just do step by step cutting your perimeter, I find that too many times we waste time getting all this to come down, but meanwhile these layers don't even reach the perimeter. So I like to concentrate at, let's say, sort of the occipital bone down.
Simplifies your work.
Simplify it, saves you time while you're working. And I find doing a lot of the work detailing when it's dry is very important because it's just sort of refining the haircut. It makes it a little bit more personal for the client or the model. I find a lot of my haircuts look great when we start to break it up by having some little pieces in there that reflect a little bit more light than just a flat surface. So now we've layered that fringe. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take this and we are going to over direct. So just in here, we're just going to break up some of these ends that I think were a little bit too weak in the haircut. But I won't touch the perimeter. So that's our perimeter. We want to maintain the integrity of that perimeter. Once we go through and dry it, we'll have a look at how that's sitting. And same thing on this side. Now what I like to do is when I'm cutting this side, is I like to sort of come around and cut this side because I'm right-handed, standing behind.
Your body language is very, very, very important.
Body language is very important. It makes it a little bit easier for myself to get in here and just slide that away. Just sort of graze those ends very little. in order to clean it up. Application of products as well is very important. What I like to do is sort of point and shoot the mousse into that root area and just sort of dab it, because that's what needs the volume. That's what needs that shape to sort of get that lift out of there. What we do is we're going to use our vent brush and we're going to push the roots the opposite direction they're going to fall to give it a little bit extra lift. Okay, it already starts creating the shape through there, and then we'll go through with the round brush and sort of smooth out the ends.
Wow, this is looking absolutely amazing. So now we're going to do some finishing details.
We're just going to iron it a little bit first. So I just want to detail the mid shaft and ends a little bit. Okay? In the direction that we want it to sort of flow. And rake it a bit with your finger so you get that textury look out of it. Now, in through the front hairline area, this is probably the only area I would iron anywhere near the actual root area, because you want that to sit nice and tight. So kind of diagonally forward.
You're talking about the area over the ear.
Just right in front of the ear. Okay, because you want that to sit nice and tight. You don't want that to sort of bulk out when you're doing the actual detailing on the haircut. And then again, continue through. I'm grabbing the very perimeter of the haircut. Smooth this out, iron it. And let that sit where we want it to. Now we have this haircut here where we have I think we have a little bit too much weight in through the surface area. If anybody knows my signature, it's definitely the way I like to texturize, because I like to sort of, it's almost what we call a little bit of a tickling technique. You're just kind of going through and tickling the hair. And what we want to do is we want to alleviate some of this weight in through the top area. So I'm going to stand behind the section that I'm going to be cutting, because I want to cut towards myself. Okay, it makes it a little bit easier. So I sort of cross my fingers so the hair is sort of locked in between while I'm texturizing. And what we're going to do is we're going to texturize about 1.5 inches away from the root, so we keep a little bit more structure while we're going through and texturizing. And we're going to leave the ends a little more structured as well, so when she's blow drying it herself, there's no difficulty in shaping it the way she wants to. So again, going through here with a 5.5 inch shear, we're going to put our thumb and obviously our ring finger in the scissor, and with my index and my middle finger, we're going to put them sort of about where the screws are, okay, like that. And these two fingers are going to push the scissor up and down, and my thumb is barely in the scissor, so I have a little bit more sort of leverage on the scissor. It's going to open and close very, very little while we're texturizing. And I'll do it slowly, and then we'll sort of see what it looks like a little bit in real time. So slowly, it's kind of like this. You're just going through, and you're kind of taking a little bit of that weight out. So again, the scissors opening and closing. So it's opening and closing with my thumb a little, and my two fingers are pushing it back and forth. Now, the way I would normally do this is sort of this speed. Just breaking that up. You want to take away a little bit of that weight through there, okay? And it's just sort of, it looks like it's nothing, but it is quite a bit of weight that you can remove and filter out of there. Same thing, last section, side to side. And you'll sort of gauge how fast you move the comb upwards by how fast you move your scissor. The faster you move your scissor, the faster you can move your comb upwards and removing that weight. And again, removing that hair. You can feel it's pretty much been consistent, the amount of hair we remove section by section. And I think we're going to be good to go.
This looks amazing, Antonio. So can you give us a final tip on your finishing? What can you say about your haircut that they can take home?
Well, I think the haircut will naturally progress into something else.
Great.
2 months down the road. That's how I like to sort of gauge my haircuts with my clients or models.
Looking into the future.
Looking into the future, she'll get some longevity out of this. If anything, she'll just have to sort of retouch the color very, very lightly. But I think the color and the look and it suits her. The suitability factor is great.
Yes, it's a great harmony.
And
for
she
sure.
suits the trend. It's a little bit edgy, but it still looks great.
And Jennifer, how do you feel?
Amazing.
Amazing?
It's gorgeous.
We're from Paul Mitchell Hair School in St. George, Utah, and you're watching scissorboy.com.
Yeah.